Ms. Hamilton Brown, you go first.
Well, I believe I have a relationship. For 25 years, I've worked in the city of Cleveland, not just professionally, but with civic commitments on boards of organizations like the Cleveland Housing Network that provides housing, not only in that ward, but throughout the city for low-income households. Working on the United Way Services board, various task force, being involved with the Cleveland schools. I was on the board with the Cleveland Foundation for a number of years. So I believe I already have that relationship and absolutely commit that it would continue.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Well, I'm going to give an answer that might surprise you a little bit, because I think that in the context of a campaign, it is very, very difficult to address a public that is very cynical in large, for good reason many times, especially with what's happened in the last couple of years, and all of a sudden make them believers because you might put out a 10-point promise or something of that nature. Actions speak louder than words. When I won my election as mayor of my city, I won in a landslide, but I didn't really feel that people truly believed that I was going to walk the walk until I did every single thing that I set out to do. And then you communicate it, and you're accessible to them. One of the things that I'm going to try to do, I've tried to do it in the campaign, I'm going to do it if I win the election, is be totally accessible and open. I don't want to be in a bubble at the county administration building and people only see me at election time. So you have to be out there among the people, with the people, and hopefully fulfill what you said you were going to do.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, and thank you, audience, for those questions. I will now have a final question for each candidate. It'll be the same question with time to respond of 3 minutes each. They also drew for the order of closing remarks, so Mr. Fitzgerald will go first, followed by Ms. Hamilton Brown. One of the things I've heard a lot since November of last year is that the county executive is going to be a great job for the second person who holds it. That the first person is going to have to go through some very difficult times, make a lot of very difficult decisions about structuring, about budget, about dealing with the roles of the council and the various, vis-a-vis the other mayors, the various other stakeholders in the community and the state. But then the next job, they'll set the template for what comes after that. I want to ask each of you, 4 years from now, if you're back here running for re-election, how should we judge you? What's success in this first 4 years of a new government for Cuyahoga County? What's it going to look like to you? Again, Mr. Fitzgerald, you go first.
Sure. Here's what I'd like people to be able to say if I'm back here running for re-election in 4 years. They'd say when Fitzgerald took over, he had to make a lot of difficult decisions, but he made them. And he didn't worry about what polls said or whether it was popular. He did the right thing. And that's the way I'm going to approach it. If that means that you only get one term, I'm okay with that. If it means people throw flowers at you all the time, that's fine too. I don't expect that. And here are the substantive things that I think I can get done. In 4 years, I can make this government more efficient, more effective, smaller. It can draw the best talent in the community, and people can be proud of it. They can be proud to work there. They can be proud that it serves them. We're going to have a jobs program that is going to put people back to work, and I mean creating real jobs that you can raise a family on. And we're going to be able to point to exactly where we were able to do that. We're going to try to provide more pre-universal kindergarten programs for children because it makes economic sense and it makes moral sense. We're going to make a commitment to kids in high school, in public high school in this county, that when they get out of high school, we're either going to provide higher education or vocational education programs for them. And if we can do that, you'll see this cynicism that we have been trapped in for a long, long time. You're going to see it start to turn. Other cities have done it. So it's a joint effort. It's not just going to be the county executive, but if we can start the ball rolling and start pushing it uphill, I think in 4 years people say, you know what, we made significant progress. That's what I hope I'm going to be able to deliver 4 years from now.
Great. Thank you. And now, Ms. Hamilton Brown, your closing 3 minutes.
Sure. I would hope that people would say that the reform is real, that we have a county executive and a county council that actually works together to benefit the citizens of our community, that we would have an economic development plan in place that involves and has the agreement of the leaders of the 59 municipalities here, that we are working together as a cohesive economic unit, not competing with one another, but working to attract and to build our community. You know, I'm a problem solver. I enjoy working on tough challenges and have had that type of experience. So if elected, I believe our county government would be dedicated towards serving people and not politics, that we would be dedicated to actually bringing those jobs to the region and connecting people to those jobs. We would also measure that we have systems in place, that we don't have sweetheart contracts, that we're not known for patronage, but for a quality organization that's actually delivering good service, and that we have good value for our tax dollars. And we would be thought of as an open government that's open and honest, and that people would want to be part of it. And that's what I would see in 4 years.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you to our candidates, Edward Fitzgerald and Terry Hamilton Brown. Election Day is less than 3 weeks away now, September 7th. And of course, early and absentee voting have already begun. Yes. One of these two nice people will be back in about a month or so. Jim will set the date for that, and turn it over to Don for the closing.
Today, at the City Club of Cleveland, we have been listening to a debate between the Democratic candidates for county executive, Terry Hamilton Brown and Edward Fitzgerald. As Joe mentioned, the primary election is in less than 3 weeks on September 7, and the general election shortly thereafter on November 2. Thank you, candidates. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, 90.3 WCPN Idea Stream, and thank you, each and every one. The forum is now adjourned.